You lot need to stop in the comment section because you lot are making me laugh, you know. What you lot need to understand and realise is that a lot of reputations are overinflated. Don't get it twisted though. I believe the creators probably dropped a few bodies back in the day. And that's only because the police were corrupt. That's only because the police could be paid off. That's only because the police's technology was shit back in the day compared to now. But to act like them, man, they were so infamous back in the day that if they was around now, no one could chat to them. You're on a joke thing. Man are talking in the comment section about, yeah, they had active beef and that with the Richardsons and that. What? Fam, do you know what active beef is? So I heard that in South London, there was a set of brothers or a family that was basically like the equivalent of the Cray twins. So it's probably the Richardsons and that. Yo, they were from South London. The Cray twins were from East London. That's not active beef, blood. Active beef is, if you go 5 minutes up the road, you're in enemy territory. You could be walking down the high road, 5 minutes down the road, and man can just run out from anywhere and get at you. That's active beef. Let alone having to look over your shoulder in your own area because man are just constantly passing through. Man are constantly gliding and sliding. That's active beef. Active beef is, back in my day, I don't know what's happening now on the streets and that, but like you had London Fields and you had Holly Street. Geographically, they're the same estate. Yo, there was a war going on between the two sides and that. Yo, London Fields is on one side. There's one little road and then it's Holly Street. Back and forth. This was going on for years. 05 to 010. Yeah? At least. Probably still going on now. I don't know. I ain't got my ear to the streets and that. That's active beef. Even in Tottenham, Northumberland versus Farm. You look off 05 plates that are listening to this now, thinking like, yeah, the beef is just recently kicked off. Fam, them lot have been going back and forth for years. Over the years, it's been squashed. Over the years, it's kicked off again. I remember back in my day hearing that Farm and Northumberland going back and forth and that, yeah? So that's active beef. Active beef is you can't even go 5 minutes up the road without being in the op block, yeah? Or there's going to be pagans about and that. East London and South London are so far away from each other, they may as well be on another fucking planet. When I was on road, all we cared about what was going on in our perimeter. Tottenham, Wood Green, Enfield, Hornsey, yeah? We did not give a shit about the beef that was happening in South London, Woolwich versus Cherry. And obviously, I used to keep up with it in that car. I was just interested in it. But to think that them man, they had active beef, blood, that is not active beef. I don't think the Cray teams were that infamous in that. I just think their reputation was just overinflated. I tell you one set of man that was infamous back in the day. The Yardies. Back in the day, 80s, 90s and that, people were terrified of the Yardies. Why you think a lot of the street culture, even the way man speak, yeah, is off of, Yardie chat and that? People wanted to be like them. They were infamous. People were terrified of the Yardies and that. Yeah, they really had a bad reputation. They really were about this. But to think that the creators could just pull up and... Do you think, the creators could pull up in Northumberland Park or Farm and talk about, this is our patch? You think they could go to Pembury Estate? You think they could go to Springfields? You think they could go to Peckham and pull up and say, this is our patch? Fam, the shells that will come their way, fam. What are you lot talking about? Fam, this is two white man. You think they're man? Fam, we got foot soldiers on the road, fam. Yeah? Listen, I saw in the comment section, man talking about, the Kurds and the Albanians, they run things. Listen, people that look like me, if we was to stick together, everyone else would be in problems. Yeah? Everyone would be in problems. And even amongst my set of people, someone was asking the other day, like, what GMs are the most active in that? Or were the most active? If we're talking about countries and that, I mean, Jamaicans, we were active back in the day. Fam, we lost our reputation and that, you get me? But back in my day, Jamaicans were on it a little bit. The Nigerians, they were active. The Malis were active. But back in my day, I would say the most infamous youths was the Congolese and the Angolans, fam. Like, to me, they're the same because they speak the same language and that. They were the most active. In different areas and that, the Congolese and Angolan youths, they were either the bosses of the sets or they were the most active, yeah? Or both, yeah? So, I mean, if you lot think that the Creators were that active, allegedly, and so infamous, then that if they was about now, no one could chat to them, fam. You're on a joke thing, fam. You're on a joke thing, fam. Like, but you know what it is, yeah? The man them that are in the comment section that are talking about, yeah, man, the Creators were bad and that. Bro, you weren't bad. You weren't on road. Ask yourself this question, yeah? You're talking about the Creators are so infamous back in the day. Was you on road? Ask yourself that question, because every area has its own army, yeah? Every postcode has its own army. In my postcode, I was in the army, yeah? Was you in the army of your postcode, rude boy? Talking about the Creators are active and that. Fam, you weren't even on road at any point in your life. Would you know even about the roads being active, fam? Yeah? You could go to anywhere, any area, nobody knows you, fam. Me, I couldn't go to certain estates. Or if man asks you where I'm from, it's going to be a problem. I had it before. Ran out 3 Tottenham boys, got on the bus, went to Chicken. On my way to my cousin's house, I see 2 youths. They actually, like, where am I from? And I told them straight on. Yeah, no one's G-checking me. So, yeah, man, you lot don't know about active people. Talking about the Creators are active and infamous and that. You was never on road to begin with, fam. So I don't even know what man's talking about. You don't know what it's like to go back and forth with, man. Anyway, man, that's it for today, man. Stay well, ton.